I'm the one who inspired Da Vinci to paint the Mona Lisa. I've been everywhere, every era, every... I'm an ancient being myself, and I'm also...
Does God exist?
Well, kinda...
Does he really exist? Is
my
there
God,
really
that is
a
a
almighty God over there? Please tell me. I do believe in God. Please just tell me.
Shut your mouth! The story begins around AD 30, and while Jesus was dying, I was fighting a dog. Meow meow!
Oh shit.
Double expansion.
And because of that, I couldn't meet Jesus myself. I really hate that stupid dog. However, who was Jesus? We have to split him in two: the historical Jesus and the theological Jesus. According to Christians and the Bible, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and his first words were... Alright, no, he didn't actually say that. After his birth, wise men supposedly arrived asking whether he was the king of the Jews, meaning people were already expecting a king. For unknown reasons, Jesus later grows up in Galilee, where he gathers 12 apostles and begins preaching. With them, he builds a following, he performs miracles, and the story most people know unfolds. And this is when, historically, is when Christian movement begins. The problem is, Israel was part of the Roman Empire, and they wanted Jesus dead. And this is where Judas enters the chat. He is one of the apostles who betrays Jesus for unknown reasons. After Pontius Pilatus, the Roman governor of Judea, authorizes the execution for claiming kingship, and Jesus ends up crucified. But 3 days later, the tomb is found partially open, and guess what? It's empty.
Jesus has risen.
The end. Now you're probably wondering why I skip a bunch of important details, like the wise man, the betrayal, and all the stuff. And this is where historical Jesus enters the chat. Historians argue that Jesus likely did not actually birth in Bethlehem, because Bethlehem was known as the city of David, and early Christians may have placed his birth there to fulfill Jewish Messianic prophecy. He is more associated to Galilee. Jesus is described in 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and their story doesn't fully match. Only Matthew and Luke describing his birth, and even they disagree. In Matthew's, the family flees to Egypt to escape massacre, and only later settles in Nazareth, while in Mark doesn't mention Jesus' birth at all. And what about the manger scene? It's not consistently described across all accounts. And the visitor at his birth, Luke mentions shepherds, while Matthew mentioned magi. They are not kings. And Judas is the Greek version of the name Judah. So yeah, we don't actually know his real name. But did he betray Jesus for silver coins? According to Matthew, yes. But in Acts, his death is described differently. Things doesn't fully align between the Gospels. Even Jesus' final words on the cross differ between Gospels. So not all Gospels describe this event the same way. In fact, both Matthew and Luke heavily rely on Mark's Gospel. So what do historians agree on? Jesus most likely existed, because he's mentioned by non-Christians sources like Flavio and Tacitus. It is also highly probable that he was executed under Pontius Pilatus, and that he was betrayed by someone close to him. And what about the resurrection? Well, there's no historical evidence for miracles or resurrection events. Those belong to theological belief. Today, Christianity is the largest religion in the world because the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, and from there European expansion carried it to America. So why didn't this religion die like many ancient ones? Because philosophically you cannot disprove the existence of God, but you also cannot scientifically prove it. Humans crave meaning. Ancient gods faded to scientific explanation and political conquest. So, does God exist? And the real answer is, we don't know. Christianity has inspired incredible art, philosophy, music, and architecture, which is pretty incredible. But like any powerful system, it also caused harm. It leads to the classic question: if God is so good, why does he allow suffering? But maybe the issue is that people want to own the absolute truth. There is nothing wrong with believing, and there is nothing wrong with not believing. What's dangerous is attacking others because you think you're unquestionably right. There is always something to learn from every person. That's why I've stayed on this planet, although one day I just might blow it up because of all human nonsense.